my friends. I am attempting to go live here. We're gonna see how we do as if this, first of all, I gotta set this thing up, and make sure that it's steady. I might just have to hold it for you. Hello everyone. It's Erin Stutland, and I'm just gonna hold this because that's how we're gonna have to do it today. You know, I'm still trying to find good spots to go live for you because it's not easy to find a good spot in Los Angeles, strangely, that has good service. So welcome. I'm Erin Stutland. I am the creator of Shrink Session Workout and the Soul Stroll. And I help you create movement in your body, which ultimately creates movement in your life. So I'm so glad that you're here today. I see we've got some people joining us for a little quick live broadcast on this Thursday early evening. Right now, I am in Los Angeles, as I mentioned. I'm sitting on a porch. Actually, let me show you. What I'm looking at is much more beautiful than what you're looking at, but then we don't get good lighting. So it is quite lovely, as you can see. It's not bad, but then we're sort of in the dark. So I'm going to just turn it around. Sorry that you have this not so lovely background. Hey, Courtney, how are you? It's great to see you. So I'm in Los Angeles, and I just got done with a day of shooting. I am here working on a new project that I'm so excited to share with you in the coming weeks. And we're having a great time. We're working really hard and doing lots of shoots. So I haven't been as active with you all online as I would like to be, but I'll be doing more of these in the weeks and months to come. So just finished shooting. I'm hanging out. My husband is in town, which is great. So that's really fun. And today I want to talk a little bit about self-sabotage and starting to understand whether or not it's something that you do, when you do it, and maybe even why you're doing it. So we're gonna, hi Pam, it's great to see you as well. So I'm curious, you know, it's such an interesting topic, and the reason I'm sharing it today is because I was talking with a friend of mine today who is on a really beautiful weight loss journey, which I know many of you are on, and she's doing great, and she's working really hard, and she has a goal in mind, and she has a time frame that she wants to meet that goal. And so I love it. If any of you are familiar with my course, Magical Manifestors, you know, I talk about having these soulmate goals and making sure that you have a deadline for your goals and that they're specific and that they're measurable. And she's doing all these great things. Hey, Lori. So I'm super proud of the work that she is doing towards her goals. And she's about halfway there. And what was interesting is she told me that the other night she was out with friends, and you know, they're like, oh, let's order some food. So they got some food, and then they said, let's order some drinks. And then, you know, one drink turned into, I don't know, several drinks. And then before she knew it, she got home very late. She ended up ordering a pizza, like all of these kind of old habits that she had. And the next day she woke up really feeling like crap because she's been eating so well and taking such great care of herself over these last few weeks. And I think this is actually the first time in her life that, you know, eating poorly and sort of drinking actually made her feel bad. I think that was sort of where she lived before, which I think is a common thing when we're trying to make a transformation, is that we have to find our new, our sort of new set point. And I think a lot of times, you know, she's raised her, she no longer tolerates feeling crappy from eating crappy foods. And so I think she woke up feeling terrible and felt terrible for the next few days. Now, one thing I want to say is there is absolutely nothing wrong with eating pizza or going out with friends or having a drink. There's nothing wrong with that. So I am by no means shaming anyone for doing that. That's not what this is about. But what was interesting is that she felt so bad and guilty about it the next day. And so I just wondered if, you know, while she's on this awesome journey of transformation, if there was any little bit in her that the reason that she chose to go out and indulge like that was a little bit of self-sabotage. Was it self-sabotage? Was there a part of her, you know, that was feeling anxious, that felt like she couldn't handle the change, the transformation, and so instead she wanted to go out and kind of stuff down those feelings? Or was it simply that, she wanted to go out and have a good time and enjoy herself with friends? And I think, that it's an interesting question. Was it one thing or the other? And so I want to talk a little bit about today about how you can begin to just determine whether it is sabotage or whether you're actually making a choice to do something and to veer off away from your goal or away from your path. Because I think there's a way to begin to recognize slowly but surely which one it is. But first, excuse me. First, I want to share a little story about something I experienced this past weekend. So I was at a conference, and it was a business conference, and it was filled with these amazing people who are doing outstanding things in business and really touching the lives of so many people. So it was great to be in that company. Of course, it's also a little intimidating too, because you're surrounded by such incredible people. And I was there at the conference, and they were doing this, it was sort of like a game. There were about 320 people in the room, and it was like a ballroom, and everyone was sitting at tables of about 10 or so. And what they were doing was, hi, Judy, things are going great. So nice to have you on the Facebook Live chat. So I just am going to get back to my story. So, so we're sitting in this ballroom, and we're sitting at tables of 10. And the game that they were kind of playing was they wanted everyone at the table to share 3 strategies that they've used in the past year that have had a big impact on their business. And so part of the game, the game was to share the strategy, and then you would vote amongst your table whose strategy probably seemed most effective that they wanted to share with a group. And then you would go to the next round, and you would do the same thing. You would kind of take all the tables in one row, the winner from each table in that row, and then share and then vote. And then the winners of each of the rows was going to go up on stage and share their strategy with the room full of 320 people. Now, so at first we went around in our table, there were about 10 of us, and I shared my 3 strategies. Everyone did. And it came down to the whole table agreed that they loved one of the strategies that I shared, and then they loved another one that this other woman had shared, which I thought was also an excellent strategy. But here's what was really interesting. So every part of me knew that the winner of that round would then go to the winner of the next round, and then would then end up on that stage talking in front of 320 people. And something about myself is as outgoing as I often am. Sometimes when I'm in a room full of that many people, I can feel a little intimidated, or, I kind of like to observe before I just throw myself into the whole mix. So there was certainly a part of me that was like, I'm not going up on that stage of 320 people. But then there was another part of me in that moment that was like, but that's such a great opportunity. Why not be bold and get up on that stage? And why wouldn't you want to do that? So what was really interesting is as I was sitting there and they were voting between my strategy and this other woman's strategy, I'll tell you, every part of me in that moment wanted to speak up and say, hers is better. Yeah, you know what, just let's go with hers, because they were kind of deciding, hers is better, let's just go with hers. But in that moment, I had to stop myself from saying that. And the reason why I wanted to say, just go with hers, hers is better, is because I felt like, there was a part of me that was like, I don't want to go up on stage. That means I'll be vulnerable. What if everyone thinks it's a bad idea? What if I don't sound smart? What if I look stupid? All of these things that were going on in my mind. So as a result, I was going to almost sabotage myself from getting up there by saying, before anyone could vote or anyone could decide, I was going to decide and say, go with hers, so that I didn't have to go up in front of these people. But the thing is going up in front of those people was such a great opportunity to tell them a little bit about my business, to share a little bit what I did. So, in those moments like that, when you think you're about to sabotage something, sometimes you got to dig in and turn inwards. And I started to say to myself, like, Erin, what are you doing? You deserve to be up on that stage. You're going to have something wonderful to share. You're Erin Stullen. You get up on that stage if that's where you're meant to be. So I just kept my mouth shut while they were voting, and I didn't say anything, and I'm like, let's let them decide. And ultimately they voted my strategy forward. We went to the next round. Again, the next round, it was between me and another girl, and this time instead of speaking up and saying, oh, let her go, I'm like, I'm just going to sit quietly, and I'm going to share my idea the best way that I can, most eloquently that I can. And ultimately what happened is I ended up on that stage sharing my strategy in front of 320 people, amongst about 10 people. And it was such an honor. And I will tell you that I was afraid and I was nervous, of course, but it was so good to get out of my own way. Instead of shooting myself in the foot, instead of preventing myself from trying something new, from moving ahead, from progressing in my business, from expanding my reach. And so that's what I want you to really think about today. I want you to think about, are there times in your life that you are actually sabotaging yourself from your own success, that you're doing something to get in your own way? That's my question for you. So I want you just to think about that for a moment. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, it took a little bit of courage. And I think, going after any kind of success certainly takes a little bit of courage. And I think it doesn't mean that you are never afraid or that you're never going to be afraid. So I want you to just ask yourself, is there any area of my life that I know I'm sabotaging my own success because perhaps I don't believe I deserve the success, or because I don't think I'm worthy of it, or because I don't think I'll actually get there and make it to my goal. So I'm just going to stop it even before I get all the way there. So one thing that I want you to think about, and today we're keeping this video really short. Courtney said that this really goes with Heather Jones's summer session info. Oh, great. I'm so happy to hear that. I love Heather Jones. She's awesome, and I'm so glad you're tuning in to her summer session info. And Stephanie says, yes, worry about everyone else. Yeah. So this is, I think, sometimes a really great way to recognize whether or not you are sabotaging yourself, or it's not really sabotage, as I mentioned with my friend who went out and was, drinking and eating with her friends. I think you begin to know if it's sabotage if you feel as though you're being pulled to do something and you don't have much control over that pull. So if you're being pulled to do something and you feel like you don't have much control over that pull, my sense is that it probably is a little bit of self-sabotage, because that pull. So let me give you an example just to be clear. It's with my friend, using my friend in her example. It's sort of like, did she feel when she was out with her friends that she didn't have any control over stopping it, that she couldn't say, I'm actually good. I'm good with one drink, and then I'm just going to go home, drink some water, chill out, go to bed? Did she feel like she was getting sort of pulled along into it? Or, for example, if, sharing the example where I was at the conference, did I feel as though I wanted to speak up, but every part of me couldn't, that I just couldn't speak up, that I didn't have the courage, and I was actually being pulled by that negative voice that said, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I didn't have any control over it. I think when we feel like we don't have any control over something, it's usually because our subconscious voice, not our conscious mind, but our subconscious voice doesn't believe in our own success, doesn't believe that we are worthy, doesn't believe that we deserve it. So that's really the big question that I want you to take away today is, when I get off track, when I lose sight of my goals, when I start doing things that don't make me feel good, that I know don't feel good, am I feeling out of control? Am I feeling like I'm not making a choice? Because I think the difference that when it's not self-sabotage is when you actually make a conscious choice and you say, I'm, for example, with my friend, maybe she would have said, which I don't think was the case, but maybe we should have said, you know what, tonight I want to go out. I kind of want to pig out on food. I want to do it, and I'm making a choice to do it, and then tomorrow I'm going to get back on track. Now, I'm not saying that would be an amazing choice, but at least it would be a conscious choice as opposed to her being pulled down that rabbit hole. And the same thing for me. If I would have sat at that table and said, you know what, I'm making a conscious choice to not get on that stage today because X, Y, and Z, then that would have been a different situation. Stephanie said, and you don't want to do it, right? And you don't want to do it. So that's what I want you to think about. If you are on a weight loss journey, or if you are on some sort of a transformation journey and you are moving towards your goals and you notice that you take 3 steps forward and then you take 2 steps back, I want you to begin to look at yourself and say, is this self-sabotage in any way? Or am I making choices? Am I choosing to take a step back? Am I choosing to slow down? Because I think that's a very, very different thing. So that's what I want you to think about today is just that. And if you need a little bit of help around this this idea of self-sabotage, I want you to come on over to erinstutland.com, and you're going to see there's a little bar across the top, and it says shrink your thighs, expand your mind. And in that, with that bar, when you enter your name and your email, you're going to get a free Soul Stroll. And I know many of you guys are participating in the 10K Soul Stroll challenge, so you're doing 10,000 steps a day, which is amazing. Of course, let me know if you're doing it and how that's going. And you know, with the Soul Stroll, you get a free one. I'm giving you a free one, and you get this amazing soundtrack, a playlist with music, and I am coaching you over it with mantras and coaching that are going to slowly help reprogram that subconscious mind so that self-sabotage becomes a thing of the past, because you want your subconscious mind to be on board with what it is you want, so that your beliefs, your thoughts, and your actions all align with that thing that you want most. So come on over. I will leave the link. As soon as I'm done with this, I'll leave you the link so you can come on over to erinstutland.com and come on over and download the free Soul Stroll. All right, my friends, that was just a little bit on self-sabotage today. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment, and I will be hanging around for the next few minutes to answer any questions that you have in the comment section. I'm so glad you love the Soul Stroll. Yay! Hugo loves the Soul Stroll as well. I hope you guys are getting in your 10,000 steps. In fact, that is what I'm going to do right after we end this. So I hope you guys are doing wonderfully. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you soon. Come on over to erinstutland.com and download your Soul Stroll. Bye.